Hello and welcome to Reiki Women Podcasts. And today I have with me for a snapshot, I have Larissa Sipek. And Larissa is from Melbourne, which is in beautiful Australia, where I am too. And she runs a business called Reiki Pulse. Now, Larissa wants to tell us her story, which it sounds quite fascinating, and I look forward to hearing it. And as far as I understand, it's informed her practice a lot. So, how she was actually drawn to the system of Reiki. So, how is that, Larissa? Tell me.
Okay. So I went through a period in my life, and that was the period when I had my children and worked in a corporate environment where there was a lot of stress. I guess it's kind of a Western style of living where you are a mother, you work, you do everything for everyone. And you reach a point in your life where you just can't cope anymore. So my nervous system couldn't cope anymore, and I pretty much ended up having a nervous breakdown. Went through a phase of pretty much trying to recover from all of that. So a lot of visits to specialists, a psychologist, psychiatrist, neurologist, because not just having the psychological side of I guess the condition I was under, there was also physical symptoms. I developed chronic pain, chronic fatigue. I was diagnosed with different conditions. I had electric shock type sensations in my body, so lots of things happening at the time. So the journey to recovery was the Western medicine for me. And even though that worked on, getting your physical symptoms down, there wasn't anything that worked on achieving that inner peace. And I was really desperate for that. I still had the young kids. I still had, life to live, and pretty much had to move on in my life. So I went on a search. I just had a feeling that there was something out there for me and something that, I just needed to find out. So all I did during that time period is while I was still, trying to recover, I was just doing a lot of research to see if there is anything else for me. And that's when I stumbled across Reiki. Started to take my healing into my own hands, still followed the Western approach, but also integrate the Eastern as well. So all I've done is one weekend I went and I enrolled into Reiki school, and I did my course level 1, and that's when my healing began. So my symptoms have been slightly amplified during that process. And it was the process that I needed to go through, and with the support of my teacher, I came out of that in a state where I was having a completely new life. So my pain disappeared. The depression that I had after that breakdown disappeared. Anxiety disappeared. Panic attacks that I had have disappeared. So I just went from living in suffering to living as I'm supposed to live. So that's what drew me to Reiki, is just a pure desperation of I want to be normal, and I want to be myself, and I want to be present for my children and my family. But, I just had to figure out what that way was. And for me, it was Reiki. Through consistent practice every single day from the day I attended the course, I went to finish all the courses for Reiki because I was so fascinated as to how it was working. And the process of cleansing that you go through, and having an ups and downs in your healing journey, it was just purely fascinating. So when I went to complete all levels, I was then ready to go and help others. It was so too good to be true that I've dropped off so many medications that I was on. Yep. And I actually now lived a normal life, and I'm able to share my story and hopefully influence and save someone's life as well. What breaks my heart nowadays is when I hear people suffering, and I'm here, I've been through the journey that they're currently on, and I know that there's a way out. And I just wish that Reiki was more used, even introduced in schools. I don't know what the potential is in Australia itself, but it's just the journey I've been through. I know that you can heal, and the healing is in your hands. So when you go through the journey of being really, really unwell, you can look out to everyone else to help you get better, but you actually know what you need to heal. You know that you've got so much stress stored in you, and you know that you need a way to get it out of your system. Whatever medication you get, they will have their function, they will work. But when it comes to finding that inner peace and finding the strength within you that you never knew you had, that's when Reiki steps in, and that's when it takes over and brings you to the surface. So I guess the journey is going from the rock bottom to now living a normal life that has a purpose, it has a meaning. And now I can share that meaning with others and help them change their lives. That gives me a purpose and keeps me driving forward. So whenever I have an opportunity, I promote it. I go to my specialists, I go to my GP, I just bring my pamphlet with me and say, this is Reiki. I've also joined the Center for Reiki Research in US. I'm of analytical background and got scientists in a family, so I love to have that connection to the research as well. So whenever a new research comes up, I just share with everyone that I know. And the reason why I do this is I just want people to feel the practice, know that it works, and it's something that, they don't have to necessarily believe in it to work. So because I come from the corporate background, I've worked with many people who don't believe in this, and I didn't believe in it until I hit the rock bottom.
Yeah.
But once you go through that journey of, discovery and learning something new and know how it works, then you just want to share it with everyone, but you still want to, give them a bit of scientific evidence as well, so they can have that reassurance that, it's something that they can just go and try. So that's that journey for me. So the journey is still evolving. There's always something that you can work on and improve upon. And when it comes to Reiki precepts, for me, the most important one is to not worry. I think prior to the point of being unwell, I worried every single day about everything that I did. Didn't feel good enough, even though I did really well in everything that I did. And I never saw that success because I didn't, I just kept worrying. And another precept for me, if I may choose the other one, is show compassion towards yourself. I never had compassion towards myself. I was what I thought others have thought of me, but now things have changed. I do have that great sense of appreciation, great amount of compassion, and that compassion actually radiates. So when it comes to Reiki for me, it's not that I went and told people I'm feeling better. People actually have approached me and asked me, what have you done? You're so different. You're so calm. You just, there's something about you. And I'm trying to explain to them it's Reiki. Some will come and try to see, and they will be convinced about it. But others, I think it will take them a journey of something until they discover it. So I use it every single day. I think sometimes at my hands, sometimes on my body 24/7 from the moment that I've tried it. And I just don't want to let it go. I think it's the most beautiful practice, and I'm really grateful that we have it, and that it's it's getting more and more recognition, and major hospitals in US are using it, in UK, and I hope that we have more presence of it in Australian hospitals as well, because it's simply unbelievable what a transformation you can achieve just by that practice alone, which is not complicated at all. It's just very simple. And you take, the learnings and precepts into your everyday life, and you just live life of purpose, fulfillment, and unconditional love.
Yeah, I think you show very much how it's really this mind-body connection. So I think a lot of people don't see the relationship between, the physical things that happen to them, for example, and what's going on in the mind, and how if we work with the mind, that we're going to also affect what's happening in the body.
Yeah.
Which is, it can only happen if the person themselves does that, isn't it? Really, it's up to each person. But as you're saying, if you talk to people, you help people to understand it, and as you say, research is going to help people, so that they can actually switch their minds on to understanding how that might help them. So yeah, well, thank you so much, Larissa. That was really beautiful, and I think for anyone who's interested in hearing about how it might help them, your snapshot today will be of a great value. And there's also a couple of links in there which I might add in to the bottom of the podcast, so people can check out some things too. Yeah. All right.
All right.
See you later.
Well,
Bye.
have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.